When I grow up, I want to be a star. I want to be famous. I want to be in movies when I grow up. Hey, yo. First time ever I've had some decaf coffee on stream. The first time in 2 years that I've bought decaf coffee because you know what? I like the flavor. It's hot. It's getting a little bit chilly out here. It's only 75 degrees right now in Austin, Texas. Look. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me the people that are living in 20-degree weather right now. That's your choice. Mainly your choice. My body is used to 105 fucking degrees out here. I'm happy it's 75, but I'm cold as shit. My girlfriend likes to keep the AC on because she's cold as shit or warm as shit. I don't understand it. Our body temperatures are different right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? How you doing? Hey, here's the thing. We have a beautiful game tonight. Last time we had the Bucks on a Thursday night slate. It was beautiful. It was the beginning of the season. We all sang Kumbaya. I lost $120,000 because I put Ronald Jones in over Rob Gronkowski literally 2 minutes before the slate locks. So here's my redemption. Here's my redemption to potentially get this right with no Gronk on the slate. Good game tonight. I see all the narratives out there as if this fucking matters. Brady 0-10 in his last primetime games against the spread. The Eagles are 6-0 in their last 6 Thursday games. I've seen all this stuff. It's all cute, as if any of that shit matters tonight, as if this is not the worst Eagles teams in those out of those last 6 games they've played, right? I've seen all of it. It's a lovely, lovely time. We could always find the stats out there. I don't have a bet on this game. I would take the Eagles in the points. Just short week, right? Short week, you're getting the Eagles in what I would say a decent situation in terms of how they can put up points for backdooring some stuff here. But in terms of props, we're loaded. I got 9 props. I posted them on Twitter. I actually pinned them up. So if you're in the comment section right now, you can see the pin at the top. That goes over to the tweet that I put out 9 props. We can take some more on stream. So when people, I think it's a nice way because a lot of people are going to come in at different times and be like, hey, what are your props today? Right up there, pinned up to the top. And if people want to point to that, you can let people know. Sal, you son of a bitch, Paisan. How you doing, AD Poker? How you doing, boss man? So, this is an interesting slate for DFS. It is a very appealing slate. With the news that we've gotten. Gronk has been ruled out, which was expected. Dallas Goedert has been ruled out for COVID. I guess he hasn't. I don't know if he's officially been ruled out, but there's no way in hell he's playing. And there's just playmakers on both sides of the ball, right? There is 3 legit wide receivers from each team because of their price points that are in play today. There are 4 running backs, probably 3, but 4 running backs that I have in play. Right? And 3 that are seriously in play. Both the quarterbacks are firmly in play, not only for flex, but captain options, right? I mean, it's great. This slate is fantastic. And the nice thing is that all these players are in play, but it's not like there's a ton of wacky shit that can happen. Like somebody said Jack Stoll. Jack Stoll should see some routes as the Eagles' number 2 tight end today with no Goddard or Stroll. I'm not really expecting much if I'm going to be completely honest with you from Jack or Jake. I keep saying, no, it's Jack Stroll. Jack Stroll, I'm not expecting much from. But like, there's some weird guys who can get you there. Like, and Greg Ward could get you there, hypothetically, if he finds the end zone. Not much usage, though, out of Stoll. Like, Stoll's only ran 7 routes on the season, has yet to see a target. Obviously, your expectations are that he actually plays more than 10% or 8% of the snaps now if there's no Goddard. But even then, I'm not too enthralled with it or jumping up and down. I have 0% Jack Stoll, by the way. I have him projected for like 2 points. I think those types of plays rarely, if ever, work out for you. Even if they get 2 catches for 20 yards, it's a miracle game for them. It's an amazing feel-good story for his fans in the stands and his parents there, but it's not doing anything for your DFS lineups, right? They're going to run more, I believe, 11 personnel tonight, which helps Quez Watkins, which to an extent helps Greg Ward more than a Jack Stoll. Jack Stoll, captain, not for me. Can you show us your entries on prize picks? Yeah, all my prize picks are linked right up there in the comments. They're linked all right up there in the comments. They're all right here tonight. They're all my prize picks. Every single one of these prize picks that I have in play, these are all my wagers on prize picks tonight. And it's a player prop site, so if you don't know, now you know. Use the code SAL. If Tom Brady throws for at least 1 passing yards tonight, if you are a brand new depositor on Prize Picks, you'll have your first bet matched up to $100 Rooskies if he throws for at least 1 yard, which I think he will. Are you playing any Ronald Jones tonight? In my single entry lineups, I'm definitely not. The lineups where I would be playing in the $2,000 luxury box, definitely not. In MMEs and 150 max lineups and maybe 20 max, but 150 max lineups, I have 7% Ronald Jones. If you're not playing Nate Boyle, just fuck right off then. Yeah, if you're not playing Nick Boyle tonight, I don't know what's wrong with you. If you're not playing Aaron Rodgers and Nick Boyle, you're obviously not a Patreon member. If you are a Patreon member, this is a lie, but if you are a Patreon member, I'm completely lying. But if you are a Patreon member, you do get to get the Aaron Rodgers. Any of his performances from this year, you can place them in there at his cheapest price of the year, which is pretty nice there. Jack Stoll is free because that's what you're doing with your money if you roster him. Yeah, you're throwing it away. So now the Eagles are going to run 3 wide receiver sets, or you're still running a lot of 2 tight end sets? I mean, in general, they're running a lot of 3 wide receiver sets this year. Obviously, they're running a close to league high 2 tight end sets, but I expect them to run more 11 personnel, more 3 wide receiver sets tonight. I think they feel a lot more confident, especially when you consider that they're touchdown underdogs. I think they're going to be forced into throwing the ball at 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, but a lot more confident, I think you can say, that they're going to go out there with some 3 wide receiver sets over 2 tight ends. I also think that they're probably going to run a lot of 2 running back base sets with Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell on the field at the same time. We've been seeing that a decent amount, not a lot, but maybe 5% of the snaps this year with those guys on the field at the same time. That might bump up to 10. Nice hot decaf coffee. Hey, he says, Sal, what's your favorite all-time food? That one's tough. My dad's baked ziti is maybe undefeated. So, like, if I could just, like, pick a meal to have, though, it's tough because you can pick anything, like, right? Like, I would just pick, like, a fucking tray full of lobsters and, like, lobster rolls. Because, you know, if you get one, you're not getting any fucking lobsters on that $30 lobster roll. But my dad's baked ziti, like a nice pasta dinner. But it depends on the mood I'm in. There's not one food that I always go to, I guess you can say. It kind of depends on the phase of my life that I'm in. Like, what is the shit? Like, right now I'm really into poke bowls and I'm getting kava a lot outside of just making my own shit at home. But yeah, probably my dad's baked ziti is like the first thing that comes to mind. Sal, is Godwin the best wide receiver in PSU history? I would say it's Allen Robinson. Godwin's close. Jahan Dotson is going to push Godwin for his money, though. If you're talking about career at Penn State, I would say it's Allen Robinson, Jahan Dotson, Chris Godwin in that order. If you're talking about career at Penn State. A little bit different there. And then I would probably, then you start to get into that like KJ Hamler, Deshaun Hamilton type range, right? Start to get into that little range there. Sal, how the hell did you decide between the Bucs wide receivers? Ownership and leverage. The Bucs wide receivers, I would say that it's very close between Godwin and Mike Evans, or Godwin and Antonio Brown today. Antonio Brown just keeps being the gift that keeps on giving on these showdown slates, and just in general, I don't know why he's so fucking underpriced, Antonio Brown. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So Antonio Brown and Godwin, when you factor in the price point difference, if you're looking for a captain, it's Antonio Brown between Antonio Brown and Godwin. If you're looking for a captain, because I think they probably both come in with like 7% captain ownership, 6 to 8%. But obviously Antonio Brown has a higher ceiling and how he gets there more often to that ceiling. If you're looking for a utility play, that's where it kind of just becomes a coin flip, and the answer might actually be both of them just to like fit into your utility spots. I think they both look really good for the price point. I think if anything, Chris Godwin maybe comes in a little bit under-owned just because of his recent performances compared to some of these other guys. Maybe he comes in at 30. Let's just say he comes in tonight. His overall ownership, let's say it's like 38% when it should be like 45% total. It's not going to be that big of a difference. I thought he was going to be more leveraged, but it seems like he's picking up some ownership. I don't know if that's based on people's content throughout the day or just more people building lineups later in the day. But yeah. Poke bowls are elite. Yeah, they really are. They're fantastic. I'm into BDSM tonight, Sal. I don't know what that means. Give me the schmacks, daddy. I don't know what the fuck this means. Sal, who from the Tampa Bay wide receivers run the most in the slot? Chris Godwin is going to run the most in the slot. He's going to run the most in the slot. What are you drinking, Sal? Whiskey? I am drinking coffee. Decaf, HEB brand coffee. So good. That's good. There's your fucking ad, HEB. $5 super chat. He says, hi, do you know how long does it take for Prize Picks to deposit money into your account? I've been waiting for 3 days. If you did not win the bet, never. Waiting for 3 days, that seems extreme. I would use their on support customer service. Are you trying to get money deposited into your bank account? If you're trying to get money deposited into your bank account and it's your first time taking it out, you need to first start the withdrawal process. A day later, they ask you to put in all your bank account information, and then it will process. So if you didn't do that, then that's going to be the issue. But just reach out to their on their website. They have a little chat box that answers you within like a couple of minutes. Have a good feeling Godwin is going to pop off, but I can't trust it with his injury. Yeah, I'm not really concerned about any injury stuff. If it happens in a game on these showdown slates, I continue to get mollywopped by injuries. It's absolutely brutal. Last slate, I lost basically every single dime that I had in single entry because fucking Sammy Watkins had to go get hurt. Even though the rest of the lineup was as chef's kiss as it gets. But what are you going to do when they score that many points? You can't be taking Sammy Watkins. Sal, do you get your shirts at Dan Flashes? I don't know what that is. Sal, do you have any preference on the line for this game? Saw the video earlier in the week. Just wondering if your position has changed. The line for this game, I mean, Eagles points. I haven't taken a bet, so I don't have my money where my mouth is. If you're asking me for a lean, it would be the Eagles side of it. but I haven't taken a bet. I can see where Tampa Bay should, in theory, based on what their personnel is, in terms of their offensive line having a massive advantage against the Eagles' defensive line, and their defensive front having a massive advantage in the pressure rate, not so much the run defense-wise, even though, look, their run defense is great. They're going to set a record maybe for least rushing yards allowed, but it's because teams don't run on them, because teams get down by 2 scores and have to throw, and they just are already scared of Vita Vea in the middle of the field. But their actual graded players in run defense this year are about average, right? They have one elite fucking player in Vita Vea, and then a bunch of other players that are just average in run defense to slightly above average. Like, they are ranked number 14 overall in actual run defense, Tampa Bay, but they've given up the least yardage. Those things are not the same, though. Just because you've given up the least yardage doesn't mean you have the best run defense. It just means teams are not running the ball against you, right? For many reasons. 1, because they're scared of fucking Vita Vea, and 2, because they're getting down by 3 touchdowns in these games, right? You can't have Myles Gaskin last week had a great fantasy game. He only ran the ball 5 times. But he scores 30 fucking points. It's crazy. Ertz putting up Andrew's numbers. I don't think that much, but notice you didn't take any Smith props. You're not high on him today. If anything, I'm not high on Devonta Smith today. But it's nothing against Devonta Smith. His props are just high in the marketplace. Like, his props are in the 70s. Devonta Smith's props right now are in the 70s in terms of yardage. And I know that they're gonna have to play from behind. And I know all of this stuff, how good Devonta Smith has looked. I understand all of that. But the 70s is a high number. The 70s is definitely a high number, right? Where I can see this game getting really fucked up. I can see Jalen Hurts running for 80 plus yards, but I can see this being no time for Jalen Hurts to throw, right? So his numbers are in the 70s right now in terms of his overall receiving yards. Like, his receiving yard numbers that I'm seeing out there, 75 on some sites. He's had the 122-yard game against Kansas City. Then it's 71, 16, 28, or 28 and 77 yards. Like, that's a high number to set as like a median for him. So in DFS, his price point's fair at $8,800. It's tough to really want to get there when you have Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette cheaper, Chris Godwin in a similar price range. But I still have a good amount of Devonta Smith. I believe right now I have, if we're factoring in captain ownership on Devonta Smith, I have 39%. So he's firmly in play. But yeah, the prop markets, those numbers are high. I think his receptions were set at like over under 5 receptions. 5 receptions for Devonta Smith. That's a little bit better, but again, it's still not something that I feel as confident about, but the receptions, if anything, is what I would take. Sal rocking that Hot Topic shirt. Don't know what that is. Sal, would you play Ertz over Hunter Henry? Ertz over Hunter Henry, yes. Sal, your 10 grand in Bitcoin is booming, my friend. I don't think I have anything in Bitcoin anymore. I think I moved that money to buy the CryptoPunk. So I moved that money back in like March or April to buy the CryptoPunk. I'm not really that interested in Bitcoin. I don't have anything against it. I'm not interested in buying shares of Bitcoin at 50K. But I'm just gonna. I feel like I hit a little bit of a jackpot. I think it will crash a little bit the marketplace on these CryptoPunks. They're set at like, I think my crypto. Obviously, you don't know what your CryptoPunk is technically valued at, but I think it's close to like $500,000 right now. So I feel like I hit the luck box with that one. So I'm just gonna hold that one for like 10 or 15 years and see what happens. Hurts over 330 total yards. I took him over 255.5 passing yards. I then doubled down on that and took him at over 275.5 because the prop went up like 5 minutes after I fucking took it. And I took it at 255.5 also on DraftKings when it opened. But I have that number. The over passing yards I think is fine. Devonta Smith captain. Yeah, Devonta Smith captain is decent. It's not great tonight. I will say that. It is decent and it's not great tonight. I would say he's like the 5th best captain option. For me personally, he's probably like my 3rd favorite captain option. But yeah. Yeah. Sal, fade Brady tonight? Yeah, I'm not getting Brady in the captain spot, but if you're talking about Brady not in the captain spot, like just have him in other spots, I'm going to be getting a good amount of Tom Brady tonight in the flex. Not in the captain spot, though. I really like Jalen Hurts' captain spot tonight. I have Tom Brady in 64% of my lineup, so I will be a little bit below the field, I think. I have him coming in around 75% owned on my Patreon projections. If you're not a Patreon member, we're pushing towards 1,000 members. Come join the La Familia. I mean, what you doing? What you doing if you're not already a Patreon member? What you doing? Y'all better smash that fucking like button. Yeah, we like it. Sal, do you suggest more Bucks or Eagles players or bounce? Yeah, I never have a stance on that, Tyler. I don't have a stance. I don't have any rules set in terms of don't get more than 3 players in a lineup. A lot of my lineups will have 4-2. A lot will have 3-3. My single entry lineup, I have not even yet finished building yet. The one that I'm looking at is 4-2. One that I'm looking at is 3-3. One that I'm looking at is 4-2 the other way. So there's no preference. Anytime anybody asks me, like, what is your preference, 4-2 or 3-3? The answer is normally, like, I don't have a fucking preference. I'll obviously land on one or the other in single entry, but there's no preference for it. Like if I look at my top projected lineups in the Big Energy Optimizer, let's see what these top projected lineups are pushing out today. What's up, Sal? Which Bucks wide receiver has the best matchup? Meh. They all fucking do. I think Darius Slay's a little bit overrated just because he has interceptions against Sam Darnold. Doesn't mean that means he's still elite. Best matchup, I would say probably whoever's going to get a lot of Avonte Maddox, which is going to be all of them. They're all going to move around. Like even though Chris Godwin is still playing a lot of slot snaps, he's still playing a lot of snaps out wide too. In 2 wide receiver sets, Chris Godwin is staying on the field. So there's not going to be any shadow matchups, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. Chris Godwin in the middle of the field should have a nice advantage because he's a bigger body in the middle of the field. But that's the answer every single week for Chris Godwin, right? And very quietly, Chris Godwin last week, like since he didn't have the 2-touchdown game and 100 yards like Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, people are just saying, fuck this Chris Godwin guy. 11 targets, 4 red zone targets, 7 catches, 70 yards. One of those 4 red zone targets, it was for a touchdown. He puts up 20-plus fantasy points. He's not this low-owned, and he's not insanely low-owned, but he's not as low-owned as he is right now. Not even close. What's up to the 1,200 people we have up in here? So if I look at some of my top projected lineups, I'm getting a 4-2 Bucks. I'm getting a 4-2 Bucks. I'm getting a 3-3. I'm getting a 4-2 Eagles. I'm getting a 4-2 Bucks. I'm getting a 3-3. I'm getting a 4-2 Eagles. I'm getting a 5-1 Bucks. That's an interesting one. 3-3. So, I mean, it's all spread out. There's no, like, dominating. Like, if anything, 4-2 Bucks seems to be the most popular build of some of my highest projected lineups, but that's not really swaying me to just load up on 4-2 Bucks because it's, for the most part, pretty spread out. Double quarterback and utility today. That seems like the safe way to play the slate, not the you win a tournament way to play the slate, but obviously you can still win a tournament. It's just so much money. Like you have Kenny Gainwell, you have Zach Ertz, and you have Quez Watkins that kind of bail you out and allow you to go double quarterback, and those quarterbacks should both put up close to 25-plus points each today. I mean, I have Hurts as my highest projected player, and then Tom Brady, and those 2 guys are my highest projected players by 9 points. So the safe way to play any fields that are probably less than 500 field would be that. It just depends on how much risk you want to take. I personally don't really want to be playing it that safe. If you're putting them both in the flex, it makes it a little bit easier, especially if you're finding a cheaper captain, like if you're going with a Quez Watkins or an Ertz or whoever it might be. But yeah, the double quarterback lineups are definitely in play today. I just don't know how often they're going to be winning it for you because specific things have to happen. Like in a double quarterback lineup today in the flex, you have to hope Jalen Hurts doesn't pop the fuck off and have 100 rushing yards on the ground in this game where he would be the captain and then he's more expensive so you can't fit Brady, right? You have to hope that both of these quarterbacks are probably scoring 25 to 30-plus points, which I know that they can both drop at any point, but they're going to need to get every piece of that. And then you have to obviously hope you hit on your captain, and your captain likely has to be somewhat cheaper. And if you're going with a cheaper captain, well, then normally that's a lower hit rate, right? Sal, do you like Uncle Lenny? Yeah, he looks great. I mean, he's one of the best plays on the slate. I have his under rushing yards today, and people are like on Twitter, you took his under rushing yards. What are you, crazy? They're set at 61.5. Leonard Fournette's rushing yards today are set at 61.5, right? He's only hit that number 1 time when Giovanni Bernard has been active. So I like Leonard Fournette total today. There's no reason Leonard Fournette can't have 85 total yards and a touchdown today and 4 or 5 receptions and have 20-plus fantasy points, right? He doesn't have to hit the 61 rushing yards to do that. So I like Leonard Fournette. I have his under rushing yards. I mean, he's had back-to-back games of over 100 total yards. 110 total yards, actually. Yeah, I like him a lot. Lenny in the captain spot today. Fournette is a captain option. He was actually my captain during the Patriots slate, which actually kind of worked out for us. Ended up profiting, and he was a solid captain. Leonard Fournette on the captain slate today, though. He's probably like my... How much did I get of Leonard Fournette? I got Leonard Fournette in 8% of my lineups in captain spot. Brown or Fournette today? Yeah, Brown or Fournette's the answer that everybody wants to know. I wish I knew. I wish I can help you out on that one. I currently have right now Leonard Fournette in 36% of my lineups and Antonio Brown in 36% of my lineups. So flip a fucking coin. I'll tell you this much. Antonio Brown's ceiling is way higher. His floor is lower. So there you go. If you have the stones to be risky today, Antonio Brown is the riskier play, higher upside, lower floor than Leonard Fournette. Antonio Brown could go out there and put up 2 catches for 17 yards, right? Or he can pop off the slate. I would say Leonard Fournette is pretty secure for 15 to 16 touches today, barring injury. Big Pimpin', best captain options tonight, says Sean Lewis. Yeah, I think your best captain options are Jalen Hurts, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Devonta Smith, and Chris Godwin. I'm not against getting Zach Ertz in the captain spot. I can see a scenario where he has 8 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown, and that can be enough in the captain spot, depending on how this slate rolls out because of his price tag. So I have about 6%, I think, on my latest update of Zach Ertz. Like, Zach Ertz captain spot allows you to get both the quarterbacks in there, allows you to get both the top receivers in there from each team, right? And then you go from there. I'm not too thrilled about that, though, because I would say the amount of times that Zach Ertz is the winning captain tonight is probably, I would give it not as low as 2%, but probably 3 or 4% of the time Zach Ertz is the winning captain. Who are we fading, Sal? I'm not getting much Brady in the captain spot. I expect to be lower than the field on Mike Evans tonight. I'm getting 0% Giovanni Bernard, 0% Jack Stoll. These guys are picking up some ownership. Yeah. I other than that, a lot of these guys look like solid plays. I mean, Quez Watkins looks great. Jalen Reagor, he's been struggling lately, but if you look at the first 3 weeks, he looked fantastic. Jack Stoll as a punt, I want 0% Jack Stoll. I have no interest. If you play guys like Jack, look, put the record on of Sal saying this, because it's the same thing every time and it never works out. If you play guys like Jack Stoll and you put your money behind them, you are slowly going to burn all your money to the point where you can no longer play DFS or you're frustrated, right? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? Jack Stoll is today going to play 15% of the snaps. He's going to run 7 routes. He's going to see, you're lucky, maybe 1 target. Even if he catches that target for 40 yards today and you're jumping up and down, screaming to your girlfriend, your significant other, your boyfriend, hey, I played that guy. He's got 5 fantasy points. Yeah, newsflash, 5 fantasy points isn't even going to be in the ballpark of what you need to win tonight. It's just not. I'm sorry. When Zach Ertz has the role that he has and he's so cheap. When Kenny Gainwell has the role that he has and he's so cheap today. When Greg Ward is going to run 15 to 20 routes because they'll use more 3 wide receiver sets trailing in this game without Dallas Goedert. Yeah, guys like Jack Stoll, I don't give a fuck what they do. He can catch 3 balls for 20 yards. An incredible game from this guy. It's not going to matter for you, right? And the moral of this story is that if you play guys like this every time, it's not going to work. It might work 1 in 100 times for you, and that time you're probably not winning the Millie Maker, so it's not even paying off, right? Somebody asked, I don't even know who was asking on the Monday slate. And this, I don't know. I don't even remember the guys' names for that reason because they never do anything. Both QBs, same lineup style. Got any? Yeah, I'm sure I do. My single entry is not currently both QBs, though. Do you like Gainwell tonight? Yeah, I prefer Zach Ertz, but Gainwell looks good as well. Can Rojo go for a touchdown tonight? Yeah, he sure can. He's going to touch the ball 6 to 8 times. On the record, if you play Stoll, you suck and won't play after the showdown. Uh-oh. Hey, Sal, thoughts on scoring over-under with Brady's thumb? I'm not concerned about Brady's thumb. It does not seem to be an actual concern for anybody. He's playing in this game. He was limited in practices. He actually threw balls in practices, so I'm not concerned. Reagor or Watkins? I'll take Watkins. Is Gardner Minshew active? You'll find out before the game starts. Why does Sal look like a young Brad Pitt from Fight Club? This man's fine. Oh my God. Chill out. How do you feel about Gainwell? Gainwell looks good. I have Kenny Gainwell as a pretty firm yes today. I have Kenny Gainwell for 7.8 fantasy points at 2,400. It would normally be one of the best cheap plays you'll ever find on a showdown slate, but Zach Ertz is on the slate without Dallas Goedert, so it makes it a little bit tougher to anoint him with that title. But Gainwell looks great for me. I would say that there's no doubt about it. Zach Ertz is a far better play than Gainwell. Zach Ertz is a borderline lock button tonight, but yeah. Eugene says lineup locks due to positional trends. Last 3 showdown slates: winning team quarterback 1, winning team tight end 1, winning. Yeah, none of that matters to me. I really do appreciate the super chat there, but none of that stuff matters to me, especially a 3-game showdown slate. Here's the thing about trends. Here's the things about trends when people write their fun articles. Look, they got to get paid somehow. They got to work for these sites in the industry and get their fucking $50 an article, right? But when people write trends about showdown slates, none of them fucking matter to me. Every showdown slate is different. People are going to use tonight's showdown slate in a sample of their trends. And tonight's showdown slate needs to add context. No, a $2,400 tight end is never going to be as good of a position as Zach Ertz is going to be tonight because Dallas Goedert is out and he was already underpriced to begin with, running 25 routes a week, 20 routes a week, right? So at some point, there'll be a trend of every 10% of the time, a $2,000 tight end pays off in the winning lineups. How can you use tonight? You need the context. It's all noise. Anytime you're using trends, every single showdown slate is so specific to that slate. So specific to that slate's pricing, the news that comes into that slate, the leverage and ownership that goes into that slate, right? I don't give a shit about the trends of how often a defense is in the winning lineup. How often a defense is the captain. Yeah, no shit. Now I have to know when they score 2 touchdowns, right? What is this helping me with? Trends are worst. The worst. It's the same thing about betting trends. Tom Brady is 0-10 in his last primetime games against the spread, right? Oh, okay. I mean, what does that show you? It shows you that they overvalue the Bucs. It shows you that maybe other teams get up more for Tom Brady when they're playing them. They overvalue Tom Brady's teams in the marketplace. Even though when he was with New England, he's hitting at a 60-something% clip. It's all just things people are looking for to make themselves feel better about a bet they're taking when none of it actually matters for tonight's game. Okay to fade Tom and play Hurts. Yes, Hurts is a better play than Tom Brady tonight. Yes. Ertz is $3,000 too cheap. I agree. Do you think it's risky to fade both Godwin and Evans? No. I mean, how does this get there, right? You can see another big Antonio Brown game, a nice Leonard Fournette game, right? So, yeah, Cam Brate can finally come alive and catch 4 balls. Prize Picks plays tonight. All of my picks that I have are if you're in the chat right now, look at the top. I pinned something, and that takes you to all my plays tonight. I have 9 props in play on Prize Picks. We showed them earlier for proof of funds, if you will. But they're all linked up in the chat. I have pinned a tweet to them. You can check them out. Hey, Sal, I think it'd be cool if you can team up with DFS Noah and come up with a show once to see how it goes. Yeah, I personally don't know who DFS Noah is. Hopefully he does good work, but I just don't have any interest, to be honest with you. I like this setting for my shows. The only reason I do the live shows is this Q&A. I like to feed off of. I don't prep shit. Obviously, I prep all my projections and stuff. I'm doing that anyways, though. For me to come on and hit live, I feed off of the questions, the comments, things like that. I don't like the live shows. I just don't like them where you have 1,000+ people watching and you're not going to interact with them. Like, I just don't like live shows where it's one guy talking to the other guy. Everybody already knows. Everybody already knows who the good plays are tonight for the most part, right? They want their specific questions answered on this guy or that guy. What is the ceiling on this guy? What does the leverage plays look like, right? And you're not answering them. So what is the utility of the show, right? I put out a video earlier or last night for this slate. What's the point of me coming on with somebody else and talking about the same fucking things, right? No point. The value is actually in answering people's questions and making them feel prepared for the slate at this point. Is Rager a good play today? Yes, Rager is a good play today. Yes. In terms of cheap options, I prefer Zach Ertz, but I would actually take Rager over Kenny Gainwell if you have the money. Same thing for Quez Watkins. You prep that thick-ass pumpkin. Yeah, thick-ass pumpkin, and also this guy. This fucking guy. The pumpkin spice essential oils candle. I'm burning my whole fucking hand. Oh, my God. Holy shit, that glass is fucking hot. There's enough South for all the fans. Zane, I assume correctly, your preferred captain is Devonta Smith. My preferred captain is not Devonta Smith tonight. No, I think he looks good, though. Ertz captain to be too ambitious. I think Ertz pays off in the captain spot about 3% of the time. I would not play him in anything small field, single entry, or 3 max. If you're playing 150 lineups, you can get 5% Ertz. I think that's fine. Hey, Mr. Sal, who would you suggest from O.J. Howard, Ronald Jones, or Greg Ward? I'll take Greg Ward. Just the cheapest. Do you like John Gruden today or AB? Give me Antonio Brown. Ertz and Gainwell ownership says even on DFS tout sites, but Ertz will be way more. I currently have Gainwell projecting for 20% ownership and Ertz about 25. I don't think it's going to be massively different. I don't think it'll be massively different. Gainwell or Ertz? Ertz by far. I think Ertz is about 15 to 20% more likely to be in a winning lineup tonight. You prefer Rager to Watkins? I currently have more Watkins. I signed up for Patreon, but selected NBA by mistake and wanted NFL. Can you help me fix this? Yeah, what's going on, John Grant? Just roll into NFL. Go back to the Patreon tiers page, click NFL, and roll into that. It'll only charge you the difference. And assuming you signed up for priority, it won't charge you anything. Just roll into it. You can do it on your end. Might go with the over then or nah. I'm not taking the over on this game. I'm not touching anything on this game. Not about the NFL, but who you got winning tonight's game, Giants or Dodgers? I haven't watched a single baseball game all season long, so couldn't help you. I would never watch that sport. That's a lie. Never again would I waste some time watching this. But if I'm not covering it, if I'm not playing DFS, I can't imagine watching baseball. Yo, my guy, would you play Gabbert? No. Any under-owned leverages? Yeah, so Godwin was going to look like a nice under-owned leverage spot tonight. It looks like that he's now actually picking up probably proper ownership. So I think that you're going to find Zach Ertz be under-owned tonight, not low-owned. And again, this depends on your contest. If you're playing in a 100-person small field contest with a high dollar prize, it's obviously a sharp field. So Zach Ertz is going to be 60 to 70% owned, right? Yes, this is talking about large field GPPs is what you're trying to do ownership for. And I think that Zach Ertz will probably only come in around 30% owned, and he should be about 40 to 50% owned. So I think Zach Ertz is still going to be a leverage play. I think Leonard Fournette will still be a leverage play. Some Chris Godwin in terms of a leverage play. And then after that, probably Quez Watkins. Those are the guys that look like leverage plays today. Maybe Kenny Gainwell picks up some leverage if too many people own Zach Ertz. But that's about it. I think guys who will be over-owned tonight for their price points are Tom Brady and Mike Evans. Oof. What's hotter, the candle glass or Sal's last week's prize picks entries? Oof. I don't know. Sal, with the context of the slate, do you know what the typical winning lineups are percentage-wise of ownership projections? My man Maxwell, I have no idea what the fuck you just asked me. Thoughts on Cameron Brate tonight? Yeah, it's tough to get to Cameron Brate. where he's priced at, like it's really tough. He's going to need to be a touchdown or bust type of a play. Look, he's double the price of Zach Ertz, and he's not going to have anywhere near the role. He's double the price of Kenny Gainwell, and he probably won't have as good of a role. He's same price as Quez Watkins, way more upside in Quez Watkins, right? Like, it's really tough to want to play a $4,800 Cameron Brate with any type of volume. Sal, how do you feel about captaining Zach Ertz? I have about 6% captain Zach Ertz. There's no way in hell I'm doing it in single entry. How do you normally go about determining exposures? I run my projections. I run my ownership. I then use my lineup optimizer, and then I adjust for total lineup ownership. And if I want to fully fade players, I will. And there you go. I don't set any exposure caps. If you're using an optimizer and you set a maximum of this guy, minimum of that guy, you're already losing. You're just putting your biases into the tool. The whole point of the optimizer is to build you optimal lineups, right? To build you optimal lineups. If you're telling them, oh, don't give me more than 50% Jalen Hurts tonight, you're not building optimal lineups. You're constricting what the optimizer should be doing to give you optimal lineups, right? Sanders fucking sucks. Completely disagree on that. Do you have any Watkins in the captain spot tonight? I don't believe so, no. What's your thoughts on Miles Sanders tonight? It's really tough to want to get to Miles Sanders with all the other value on the slate. I think he's properly owned for the price tag. If you're in a position where you can just land on Miles Sanders and leave $500 on the table, I don't think it's a terrible idea, but I would expect 8 carries out of Miles Sanders, and then you're hoping that he can catch 6 or 7 balls. So it's tough to get to Miles Sanders with all the other value that's opened up on this slate, especially his own wide receivers on his own team. Sal's pretty blunt, a.k.a. a prick. Hey, man, I think I'm the complete opposite of a prick. But to each your own. I mean, if you can't take candor, then I don't know how you're going to survive in this here world. Weird question, but I always wondered, how do you come up with projections? It's about 12 different variables in an algorithm. It's a fucking equation, right? It's an equation that takes about 12 different variables and a bunch of data from databases. You just have to know which ones you want to use. Sell the CryptoPunk for $500K. What do you think people will pay for those 5 to 10 years from now? $5 million? I have no idea. I only put in 10 grand to have it, so I'm just going to hold it. If it goes to zero and I lose 10 grand, I honestly don't care. When I put that 10 grand in, I expected it to be worth zero. So I'm going to hold it for 10 to 15 years. I think the CryptoPunk and any NFTs that are actually worth a damn, and I don't give a fuck about NFTs. I think everybody's bullshit on NFTs. Even people who own NFT companies are full of shit. They preach, we love our community here. No, they don't. They don't give a fuck. They want quick money. That's how it is. So in 10 to 15 years from now, yeah, maybe it'll sell for 7 figures. I'm in for 10 grand, and I don't care if I lose every single dime of that. Let's fucking go. Sal Woodford, gonna taste great tonight. Hey, the Woodford Reserve, you'd love to see it. Sal, that guy was a test. What's a good winning lineup for tonight? Hope so. How are you playing the luxury box tonight? Hey, are you playing the luxury box? As of right now, yes. Can you teach us how to predict ownership on Patreon? No, I don't have any interest in that, because then I'm teaching myself how to be out of a job. I mean, ownership is something that is very difficult to project and project constantly. To have the knowledge on how to do it and the resources on how to do it, let alone the knowledge. So that will be there's no reason in hell I should ever give away how I make my projections or ownership. There's no reason in hell. I'm giving away my own edge at that point when people know how I'm doing that. And then I'm also giving away what I actually have as a tool on Patreon, right? Part of my business. Better captain, AB or Fournette tonight? I think that AB has a higher ceiling, and when you play captains, you want to go higher ceiling. So normally when those guys look like similar plays like Fournette and AB do, usually go with the wide receiver because they have higher ceilings. More Hurts touchdowns or Eagles wide receivers? More Hurts touchdowns or Eagles wide receivers? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like you mean more Hurts rushing touchdowns? I'll go with Eagles wide receivers. NBA Top Shot disagrees. Moment holders went free to the NBA Finals. I mean, there was a pretty clear and obvious bubble with NBA Top Shots. Like, if you weren't paying attention, you knew that there was no value in anything they were doing. NBA Top Shots wasn't allowing people to take their money out of the website. They were literally giving, for 4 months, people couldn't take money out of the website. So how do you hyperinflate any type of market? How do you hyperinflate it? You only push the supply, and you slowly trickle it out to build up demand, and then all you have is demand, because people have $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $500 in their account, and they can't take it out, and they see a drop coming, so they buy the pack. It was as obvious as ever for a hyperinflated market. You got any Prize Picks props? Yeah, I've got 9 Prize Picks props. They're all pinned in the comments. They're all pinned in the YouTube chat. So the YouTube chat to the top, you can check them out. If you use the code SAL, you get a free $100 bet. If Tom Brady throws for at least 1 yard tonight, you get a free bet up to $100 on Prize Picks. I have Godwin's overs. I have Jalen Hurts overs on fantasy points and yardage. This is for the main slate I took. So I have a bunch of stuff. Ronald Jones over rushing yards, Fournette under rushing yards, Rager over, and Quez Watkins over. So I have a bunch. The rest of them are all over there. So if Brady throws for 1 passing yard tonight and you are a brand new user, you get your first bet matched up to $100. So free $100 bet if you want to go all the way up to 100. How many completions for Thomas Brady tonight? I'll let you know. I'll let you know how much I have him projected for. Fournette or Mike Evans? I'll take Fournette. AB at the captain without Brady in the utility? Yeah, I think that's fine. There's no reason why AB can't go for 120 yards, 6 catches, and a touchdown tonight, right? And have himself a 30-point game without that. And then Tom Brady's only thrown for 302 touchdowns. I'm going Ertz captain everywhere and switching between Watkins and Rager and Brait. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Ertz captains. I have like 6%, but there's no way I'm going there everywhere. I think Zach Ertz has a 3 to 4% chance of being the winning captain tonight. So there's a chance. It's higher than usual, right? There's no way he's a majority chance. He's probably the 10th or 12th best captain. It's really nice to look at your lineup when you fit Ertz in the captain spot and see, oh, I can fit both quarterbacks and Devonta Smith and Mike Evans and Kenny Gainwell, right? And that's your lineup right there. There you go. I just named your lineup probably. It's really nice to see that and visualize that. But when I tell you that your percentage chances of that lineup hitting just because of Ertz is in the captain spot is 5 to 10 times less than other captains that are on the slate, why would you ever do that? Like when you know right away that based on how this slate plays out in fantasy points and the pricing, that Zach Ertz has a less than 5% chance to be the captain, yes, of course he can be the captain because there is 5% of the time that he is, but there's 95% of the time that he's not. I'm just going to play those odds, right? DFS is all about projection versus leverage, and that's how you go with it. Godwin or Evans in single entry? I'll go Godwin. Are we waiting for any big news tonight? Not that I know of. Somebody asked about the completions on Thomas Brady. I think that Tom Brady's completions I have him around 27. Watkins or Gainwell in the flex? I'll take Gainwell. Or I'll take Watkins. I mean, there's a price difference there, right? I have Watkins projected for more, but there's a price difference. If price doesn't matter, I'll go there. Assuming you are a big on Fournette today. Assuming I am big on Fournette today. I have Fournette in 36% of my lineups, so kind of, I guess. Like, he's not my highest owned player. I think he's probably somewhere around like a top 5 owned guy for me. Yeah, I mean, Brandon Bierman, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Brandon Bierman, please. Please, Brandon Bierman. Brandon Bierman just put in the weirdest comments in the chat. Please, here. Everybody knows what's about to happen, but please, for your sake, fuck right off. Hurts is the captain. Yeah, Hurts looks like probably the best captain option tonight on paper. There's a lot of ways that goes wrong. Clearly, if he doesn't go for any rushing yards, that goes completely wrong. I do like Hurts, though. I mean, look, they're going to bring pressure, and I think Hurts has a big game on the ground in terms of rushing yards. I don't know about touchdowns on the ground, but that obviously fuels what he can do in the passing game. Like, his prop is now set at like 278 passing yards in a lot of spots. That's a high fucking prop for Jalen Hurts. So I do think the best captain option, and it normally is when he's on the slate, is Jalen Hurts, but it is expensive. So what can you get with the rest of your lineup? So, and if you're playing Jalen Hurts in the captain spot, you should kind of try and envision how that game flow goes and just kind of think about what would be needed if that's the case. Evans or Godwin in single entry? I'll go with Godwin. Do you like anybody under 1K today? The only guy that I have ownership towards under 1K today, I believe I have ownership towards him. Let me see. Yeah, I have 7% Greg, or 7. What do I have? 10% Greg Ward. So Greg Ward's $800. I expect Greg Ward to run 15 routes in this game. It's touchdown or bust, of course, on Greg Ward to be in your winning lineup, unless there's an injury, though. So Greg Ward's the only one there. Wide receiver, running back as captains. Yeah, normally it's going to be wide receiver. Leonard Fournette looks like a solid play today, but normally wide receiver in the captain spots. They just have a way better range of outcomes in terms of their ceiling. Sal, find Mitchers toasted oats, sipping whiskey, and thank me later. Ooh, that sounds good. Who has the highest ceiling tonight? The highest ceiling on tonight's slate, it's going to be a couple of different guys. It's going to be, in terms of ceiling performances, the Bucs wide receivers and Jalen Hurts have the highest ceiling if you're talking about range of outcomes. It's Jalen Hurts and the Bucs wide receivers tonight, based on what my ceilings look like. And in terms of Bucs wide receivers, it would go Antonio Brown, Evans, Godwin. But I think Hurts has a pretty significant ceiling tonight as well. Yeah. Leonard Fournette also has a ceiling because there's 2 touchdown games when you're touching the ball 16 to 20 times a game. How do you determine leverage plays on smaller field single entry tournaments? Yeah, leverage plays, it literally just comes down to projection versus ownership. That's it. That's what leverage is. Leverage is this guy. Does this guy project out good and he's not picking up as much ownership compared to these other guys who project out good too, but they're picking up too much ownership? So guys who are going to be leverage plays today, based on their ownership, it's projected points versus projected ownership. That's where you find leverage, right? And also, to take it a step further, the optimal chance that a player is in a lineup versus what their field ownership is. So let's just say for tonight, as an example, there's probably about a 45% chance Zach Ertz is in the winning lineup tonight, and the field is only going to own him 30% of the time. Again, if you're playing in a small field single entry, Zach Ertz is going to be 60 to 80% owned today. If you're playing in small field single entries with a $100 or more buy-in, because those people are sharp and they pay attention. If you're playing in the Millie Maker or $3 buy-ins and things like that, Zach Ertz will probably be about 30% owned, maybe 35, but he should be 45 to 50, right? So that's a leverage play. You have leverage over the field by playing him because we know that there's an optimal chance that is higher than the actual chance of what his ownership is. That's how you find leverage. Sal, do you stick to cash prizes on DK or do you dabble in Qs and satellites? I don't play any cash games and I don't play any qualifiers or satellites personally. Devonta Smith or Antonio Brown today? Yeah, good question. I have right now about like 38 to 40% of each of them. I currently have as a better play today for the price point Antonio Brown. I have Devonta Smith for more points, but for the price point I have Antonio Brown as a better play. Sal, what do you think of Tampa wide receiver in the captain spot in a small field? Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. OJ Howard or Gameo? Give me Gameo. Bro, you're hilarious. Blessings. Blessings to you as well, Liff. Just a quick reminder, the best content Sal provides is on his Patreon. I've learned 90% more and feel 100% more prepared every week. I appreciate that, Marcus. Yeah, I remember Marcus was in the YouTube chat a couple weeks ago and he wasn't a Patreon. He was like, I'm going to become a Patreon. I was like, hey, open arms. I'll welcome you to the family. He did. Here's a link to it, by the way, if you want to join. Hey, Sal, I subscribed to the Patreon. Do I get a discount since I subscribed halfway through the month? Yeah, Finesse guy, just reach out to me when the November charge hits and I can prorate you back for unused days. Sal, when choosing a kicker, how do you decide which to take or do you go with a cheaper one? I have projections on them in ownership, so I choose the one that's a better leverage play. I choose the one that has lower ownership for what their value is. Normally, though, I'm not really playing many kickers, especially on slates like this. I have really no interest in Jake Elliott. If you're playing a kicker, play Ryan Suckup, but for the most part, no real interest in kickers, to be honest with you tonight. There's just too much value. How much money you got on tonight's slate, Sal? In the player props market, probably 400 to 500, and then in the DFS streets, probably 25. So probably 3K overall. Sal, do you think Gainwell picks up some targets from Goddard being out? Yeah. I mean, I think you can. Now, targets, like multiple, I don't know about that. I don't know about that as much. Like multiple targets seems a little bit extreme to project in that much of a target share bump up. But I would say the target share definitely moves up. But let's say you thought that Kenny Gainwell was going to see a 10% target share. Dallas Goedert gets ruled out. I think it's reasonable to say he gets an 11 or 12% target share. That doesn't mean I think he sees 2 or 3 targets. I think that means he sees about 1 or so. Decaf messing with you, Sal? Who's Decaf? This Decaf? No. You said earlier you don't like defense as much in this matchup, but there is a scenario the Bucs go up early and harass Hurts. Thoughts? Yeah, there is a scenario where that happens. I have 13% Bucs defense. I'll be below the field. What about Sanders tonight? Sanders is a tough price point. It's a tough sell for me. I have 23% Sanders. I think that might be around the field. I have Sanders projecting out for like 29% ownership. So, yeah, Sanders looks okay. I was wondering your thoughts, or Sanders looks not okay is what I meant. Brain lapse there. Yeah, Sanders, it's tough to really have any confidence in Sanders at that price point when there's so many other values on the slate that project out similar to better. That pumpkin looking thicker than Zion during Mardi Gras, facts. 1.3 watching, your big time Sal. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, how many people we got watching? We got 1.3K. Hey, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, 2 seconds of your time and hit the subscribe button. Let's get this channel to grow a little bit. Do you think there's a greater chance of a QB being the optimal captain in this slate compared to most showdown slates? Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the best optimal captains tonight are the quarterbacks, most notably Jalen Hurts. Again, Jalen Hurts is going to have a 20% chance of being the captain tonight. That does not mean that he is the majority chance. So when I say optimal chance, it just means a greater chance than other players in the slate. Again, trying to listen to what I'm saying here. His chance of being in the optimal lineup is probably 20% tonight. That means 80% of the time he is not, right? So there you go. You're playing the odds. You try and play the odds in DFS. You only win 20% of the time in DFS. You have to maximize on when you actually do win. What do you mean when you don't play cash games? I don't play head-to-heads. I don't play 50-50s. I don't play double-ups. I don't play any of that shit. Pointless. Boring. Move on. For me at least. Hit that sub and like. I appreciate that. Sal, you're the fucking man. No, you're too nice. Rager or Watkins today? Yeah, I have very, very similar amounts of both of these fellas. I think I have more Watkins. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm getting more Watkins right now by about 10%. What's your luxury box lineup? Yeah, you can check when the game actually starts. Sal, when can we get an office tour? Yeah, man, I don't know. Taking some shots for you, brother. Cabo Wabo. Hey, nice. Mike Evans or Godwin in a single entry flex. I'll take Godwin. Sal, will you also be doing NBA videos during the NFL season? I will not be doing NBA videos during the NBA season. No. Or during the NFL season. I will have all the tools up on Patreon like we did last year for NBA. I will not be covering it during the NFL season. I just have no time or desire to be balancing both. Like right now, I am on the borderline of being burnt out just by covering NFL for 12 pieces of content a week. I couldn't imagine covering the NBA to the full extent in terms of making videos for it. I'm going to be following it and tracking it and projecting minutes and things like that on Patreon and discussing in Discord, although I will probably only be playing NBA DFS maybe 1 or 2 times a week, maybe. But for the most part, no, I will not be covering NBA on YouTube until 2022. Not sure if discussed yet, but Tyler Johnson seems intriguing. Thoughts? I think I have Tyler Johnson for 2.8 points. I'm not intrigued at all. Is running both QBs in a single entry a good idea? It's tough. It's tough to see a scenario where both QBs... I mean, look, both QBs are very strong optimal plays, but the combination of both of them, like when you're looking at how often they get in the winning lineup, it's going to be high. But when you look at how often they're in the winning lineup together, it starts to become a little bit tighter because it has to be a very specific outcome, right? The way that works for you is if they're honing in on one wide receiver and you happen to have that one wide receiver, or they're both scoring rushing touchdowns, right? Which obviously with Hurts it makes sense. So I think the safe play is to try and have both quarterbacks in there, but you're not winning a showdown GBP by playing safe. Holy shit, you do 12x a week? I do 12 pieces of content a week between live streams and pre-recorded stuff, yes. YouTube video about the London Showdown slate? Yeah, no shot. I have tools on Patreon already. So if you want to know where exactly the best plays are, the Showdown, my interests, the rankings, ownership projections for the London slate, just like last week, they're on Patreon. There's a 0% chance I'm making a London Showdown slate where there's only a $100,000 to first contest. That video would get 1,000 views and take 5 hours of my time. No shot. So chances of both Watkins and Rager going off. For their price points going off, I'd say slim, right? We haven't seen 2 wide receivers really from in the same game go off for the Eagles. We really haven't seen that. At their price points, both of them paying off their price points, yeah, I can see it. Rager having 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown pays off his price tag. Watkins having 4 catches for 100 yards pays off his price tag, right? Because he's a downfield player. Sanders or Gainwell? I'll take Gainwell. Do you like AB, Fournette, and Godwin in the same lineup? Yeah, I mean, that seems fine. Rojo or Gio? I have 0% Gio and about 7% Rojo. My answer would actually be neither of them, but Rojo if you had to choose. Thoughts on Smith on SuperDraft today? Good question. So on SuperDraft, Smith right now is my 3rd highest projected player. Watkins looks a lot better, though, for his multiplier. We can actually try and build out a SuperDraft lineup here. So in terms of SuperDraft, I think that Watkins is a sneaky as fuck captain on SuperDraft. If you're not familiar, SuperDraft, you can see right here, it's $8,000 to first. If you're playing $20 or any contest anywhere tonight, you should start on SuperDraft if you have the ability to. This contest is going to fill at 70%. Your best chance at winning money, contest, winning first place, just cashing is on SuperDraft. You're going to play in contests that have 1,000 people and only 700 people will enter them. On DraftKings, 1,000 people. You're facing less people for the same or more money. I think that Quez Watkins, with his high multiplier, is probably the best captain option on SuperDraft today. And then obviously after that, you probably want to get some Jalen Hurts in there. And you start building out your lineup. I think this is a insanely great way to start a SuperDraft lineup today. And if you want to get a free $20 to play in that contest and try it out, use the code SAL. There's the plug. They're a sponsor of mine. They allow the lights to stay on, but the benefit is so much more in your side of things, right? They allow me to pay the lights bills over here that they're a sponsor and I can plug them. But legit, you get $20 for free, and it's the best spot to put your money because the contests don't feel anywhere near. Sal, I love that shirt. Not going to lie. I appreciate that. It's a sexy ass shirt. If you're making 20 lineups, how many different captains would you have? I would have 1 to 3 different captains depending on your risk preference. Hey, man, never underestimate that Brady might sneak in a goal line. Yeah, but Brady's not doing that as much. I think they've been pretty active in not allowing Brady to sneak in as much this year. I don't know if it's a Brady thing and what he's saying, but normally you would see Brady hurry up and just do it. He's not doing that at all this year. He's just not. And it makes sense, right? He's going clearly for the records. He's going for his longevity, of course. So it makes sense that you're not seeing it. You saw it happen one time against the Rams that he had a rushing touchdown. Other than that, you're not seeing these QB sneaks as much as you have in past years. Howard at all at $1,000. OJ Howard I have currently in 12% of my lineups. Yeah. Bro, did you say you prefer Evans over Godwin? I prefer Godwin tonight when you factor in pricing. Thoughts on taking Bernard? I have 0% Bernard. He's way overpriced. Sal, got any onslaught lineups? I'm sure I do. I don't have any rules against it. What's up, Sal? I appreciate it. I appreciate that. You playing both QBs tonight? I'm playing both QBs, not in my single entry as of right now. What entrepreneur slash breaking away from 9-to-5 work-life books would you recommend? Not all the books. A lot of the books I've read over the last 3 years are pinned up on my Instagram. So you can check it out there if you want to. I have a highlight of all the books that I've read recently. So, for example, this right here. This will go through the books that I've read, probably about 75% of the books that I've read over the last 3 to 4 years. So I have another book that's actually supposed to show up. It might actually be here. It's supposed to show up today. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't care about this, so these are them, though. This is also a great book if you're just looking for health. Bunch of stuff in here. Whole lot of stuff. Recently is more mindfulness stuff since I feel pretty secure in finances and business. But I actually have a more business-oriented book coming out, or should be coming today. It's called Buy Then Build. So now that we have a nice little media business here, my next goal is to start buying businesses or buying a part ownership in them, and then just obviously a somewhat investor base, but also having a hand in it, so like a part owner. So that's kind of what I'm looking at next. All football, Sal, if you could take any vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go? Good question. I don't really know. I've never left the country outside of Canada, like the continent outside of Canada and Mexico. My answer, like, quickly is to see Italy, but I know Italy is, like, pretty sketchy right now, so I really don't know. Bale looks cool, right? But I don't know. Greg Ward or Tyler Johnson? Greg Ward. Would you take Ronald Jones fantasy on Prize Picks? I took his over 18.5 rushing yards. I wouldn't touch anything else. Sal, more passing yard, Hurts or Brady? Brady for sure. Closest you've come to a milli. Closest I've come to a milli. I rarely play the Millionaire Maker, so probably never. The closest we'll come is probably business this year. Well, it'll be pretty close by the end of the year, so we'll see if we get there. If things stay pretty stable, we should be pushing right up against it. Let me recommend Thick Face Black Heart. I don't know what that is. Is that a good book? What's it about? OJ Howard or Suck Up? I'll take Suck Up. What's the most salary you're leaving on the table? As much as you feel comfortable with. I'm leaving at least $700 on the table in all of my large field tournament lineups. What kind of candle is burning behind you? That is a pumpkin spice candle. It's a thick-ass pumpkin candle. Norway is my dream vacay. Nice. Sal, long-time viewer, just want to say I appreciate all you do. I appreciate you tuning in and being up in here, my man. Rome was amazing in Greece, too. We love to hear it. Thoughts on Jalen Hurts or start Dak? I'll go Jalen Hurts over Dak for sure. How do you see this game? Fade Brady in 15 milli contest? Yeah, sure. How do you see this game going? Yeah, I think trying to predict game flows is overrated. Now, there's a lot of people out there who play 150 lineups professionally in showdown contests. God bless your blood pressure. And they would tell you that, you know what, it's good to try and predict game flows and try and get the right one and have 150 lineups for it. And some will tell you it's good to predict game flows and have 25 lineups for each one because then you have a higher chance at each game flow. It's all personal preference. I think it's all fucking bullshit because any game flow that you say, I can easily come up with 17 different scenarios that happen with the lineup that you currently have, right? So I really don't think too much about how the game flow goes out. I look at my specific lineup. Like if I have most of my money on my single entry lineup, I'll look at it and make sure that the players that are in it actually have a realistic chance to all go off together. I'm not playing 3 Bucs wide receivers in the same lineup, right? And if I am, I'm probably having Tom Brady in that lineup. But I'm not playing 3 Bucs wide receivers in the same lineup. So I probably have 2 Bucs wide receivers and Brady. But you also don't need Brady. So there's a lot of ways this can go. Community prize picks tonight. Yeah, we can try and do them. We can try and do them. Sal, do the floss dance. Oh, I can do the floss dance. It's pretty damn good. I'm not going to do it right now, though, for you. I got some short shorts on. You might see too much. You know? I don't want to get the Rocky Mountains going and everybody's pants out there. Sal, I'm a little late, but what prize picks you looking at? They're all pinned up. All my prize picks are pinned up in the comment section to the top. Have to leave $700? What? You don't have to leave $700 on the table. I don't know who told you that. I said I'm leaving $700 on the table at least in all of my large field lineups tonight in terms of 150s or 20 max. Was that sure? Fade Brady in the 1,500 No, you can fade Brady. If the main contest tonight that has like 200,000 fucking entries, yeah, you can fade the guy who's going to be the highest owned player on the slate and also the most expensive, right? Especially when Jalen Hurts projects out better than him. Yeah, you can fade him. You don't have to play him in the main Millie Maker contest tonight. If I was playing one lineup in the Millie Maker tonight, I definitely would not be playing Tom Brady in the lineup. Your best way to get leverage in one lineup is by doing that. Got to fade one in single entry, Hurts or Brady? I would fade Brady. What percentage do you own Quez Watkins tonight? I own Quez Watkins in 35% of my lineups right now. If Gainwell is $700 cheaper, would you go Gainwell and Smith or Sanders and Rager? If Gainwell is $700 cheaper, I don't know what that means. Sal, I know what I'm doing when it comes to sports and DFS, but listen, because think you're extremely knowledgeable in all things business. Congrats on your success. Always a supporter. I appreciate you, my man. What's for dinner tonight, Sal? I don't know. I got people coming over to watch this game in about 15 minutes, I believe, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to go out quick. Who do you think is the best team in the NFL right now? That shit changes every week. I don't know. I don't know. I really think the NFL has really good parity right now. Everybody in the world is going to say Buffalo because that's the flavor of the week. I don't know. I think there's 10 good teams. I think there's 10 contenders, and I think the rest are not. One of those teams is playing tonight that is a contender, and it's the Bucs. The other one is not a contender. I think that's obvious to most people. But I'm really not interested in the, like, who is... Hey, Salvatore, happy Thursday. Hey, my mama is in the chat. My mama Vetri is in the chat. It is my grandmother's birthday today as well. So, everybody, nice happy birthday to my grandmother. They're watching. There's no doubt about it. They're watching this right now on the dining room or kitchen table at my grandma's house. So, hit her up with a nice happy birthday. Underdog has Lenny at 68.5 rushing. Yeah, I would smash the under on that. Quez runs out of the slot or outside. He's going to move around. I mean, he plays primarily out of the slot, but he'll move around. Love the show, Sal. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. What am I trying to think? There we go. All right, these people are going to be here in 20 minutes to watch this game. Happy B-Day, Gma. Happy B-Day, Gma. Hey, happy born day. There we go. There we go. We love it. Thanks for what you do, Sal. You're the best. I look forward to these videos. Let's hope I can win these double ups. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Look at all the happy birthdays for Grandma. Look at all the birthdays for Grandma Carmela. We love to see it. My grandma says love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'll call you guys after this. Does Fournette get over 13 points on Prize Picks? I haven't projected for over 13. I have Fournette for 14.8 points. Who's your team, Sal? I am a Packers fan. But the word fan is like very loose for me now. Like I kind of lost fandom in like the Yankees and other teams just from not being as interested. Football keeps my fandom because, you know, sudden death playoffs keeps you pretty involved. And the second Aaron Rodgers leaves this team, I don't know how I'm supposed to be a fan of a team that sucks. So fandom for me doesn't really exist that much anymore, unless it's like a playoff game for the Packers where there's actually built-in stakes. But it's really tough. A lot of people with the happy birthdays in here. We love to see it. We love to see it. We love to see it. Brown, Godwin, or Mike Evans at the captain for single entry. I'll take Brown or Godwin. Flip a coin. I'll go Brown, though, has a higher ceiling. Take care. Brush your hair, somebody says. Hey, happy birthday, Gma. Yes, yes, yes. How many captains you playing tonight? Captains that I'm playing tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captains I'm playing. Oh, wait, no, that's not the right sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captains. Still 5. Plateau Sal is actually a Chipotle addict. Who is Chipotle addict? Is that a DFS player or something? I feel like I've heard the name. AB or Fournette in the flex? Happy B-Day. I'll go with AB or Fournette in the flex. Ooh, I'll go Fournette in the flex. AB if you're going captain. I'll go Fournette in the flex. Higher optimal chance based on the touch count for Fournette. But, man, that's a tough one. AB or Fournette's a really, really tough one tonight. Similar price ranges, similar chances of being optimal. The answer might actually be both. Just saying thanks. A $6 super chat by JP. I appreciate that. I don't got much time. Like, people are going to be at my house in 15 minutes, so I don't have time to go get food. So I'm going to order kava to my house. It's going to cost me fucking double the amount of money. Somebody super chat $10 so I don't have to pay the extra money to order kava to this house right now. It's some bullshit, right? You order Uber Eats and you got to tip the person. Then it's like an extra $4 or $5 for the fucking delivery fee. And my $10 kava bowl is now $22 somehow out of nowhere. $6 just comes out of nowhere, out of thin air, because you're doing that shit. Gio has a fun leverage play? I don't think so. I don't think Gio is going to be a leverage play today. I really don't think so. Leverage play has to factor in his chances of being in the optimal lineup. I think Giovanni Bernard's chances of being in a winning lineup tonight is under 5%. And I think Giovanni Bernard will be higher than 5% owned. So I don't think it's a good play at all. Quez or Lenny. Is Goddard playing? He has COVID. Okay, I'm definitely playing Grandma Vetri and the captain. We love to hear it. My prop is 297 passing yards. What does that mean? On Brady, take the over. On Hurts, I would not touch it. Ward or Gainwell? Aaron Rodgers and Nick Boyle stack going off. It's going off. It's going off. Alrighty. So yes, be sure to take these props. They're linked up top. Use the code SAL. But let's put some more in here. So this is the SuperDraft lineup. Quez Watkins captain, and then Jalen Hurts. Another player that I would put in there was a nice multiplier. And we're getting a lot of Eagles, but it doesn't really matter with the multipliers in SuperDraft. Devonta Smith. So there you go. Now we got 3. If you stay till the end. You're almost all the way to a complete lineup. I'm winning all the fucking dollar rooskies on SuperDraft tonight. They're looking sexy. I got $5 in the food, says Eric. I was just kidding. Yeah, I'm good for the extra $10 it costs in a delivery fee. I was just kidding, but I appreciate that, my man, Eric. Man, what's the best D-Day present you've ever gotten? The best birthday present I've ever gotten? It's definitely nothing tangible. There's 2 things that stand out to me. The first one was more recently, this past year for my birthday. My parents were here. My birthday, week before. They left the day before my birthday, but they were here for 5 days. So they visited Austin. They got to see the area. That was a ton of fun. So that's definitely up there as a top 2 birthday gift. And the other one was when I was in California, all kind of by myself as an intern one summer. My girlfriend at the time, she flew out and she spent a 4 or 5 day weekend. So it's more so experiences than actual, and we went to the downtown San Francisco area. So it's more so experiences. Tyler donates $10. He says, eat up, my guy. Bonnie donates $5 and says, let's eat. So we just got the whole meal paid for. I was just kidding. I feel like a fucking mooch now on here. I was just fucking kidding. I feel like I got to pay these people's back. Jeez. Do you draw your eyebrows on, Sal? Says Ashley Evans. No, these are legit fucking caterpillars. These bad boys right here are legit caterpillars. That's as legit as it gets, them caterpillars up on my eyeballs. What's good, Sal? Half point PPR. How long would you go, AB or Brandon Cooks? I would go with AB. When's your birthday? My birthday's in June. Hunter with the $5 super chat. Too kind. Fournette or Sanders? Fournette. Ertz or Game on the captain? If you had to choose one, I'd go Ertz. Who's scoring the most touchdowns for the Eagles, Sal? Give me Jalen Hurts. Who plays the slot for the Eagles? They all move around. It's going to be a lot of Quez Watkins in the slot, but everybody will move into the slot on that team. Do you think the Raiders are going to play the same with Gruden? I have no idea. Let's eat, Sal. Experiences over materials, respect. Happy birthday. Enjoy. I appreciate that, Keegan. Yeah. Happy birthday to Grandma. Damn, Sal's getting the free food. Do you ever watch other DFS people like Al Smizzle? I will always watch you. Just didn't know if I should pay attention to someone else. I know who Al is, right? I know who Al is, but I don't watch his content. It's nothing against him. I just don't have the time. I don't watch any YouTube content in this space. I watch UFC YouTube content or comedy podcasts. And then I listen to a lot of podcasts more so about the NFL itself. In terms of salary cap shit, in terms of how actual schemes offensive play calling, defensive play calling, what a specific play means, where people's responsibilities are, scouting processes. I listen to those types of podcasts. I don't really listen to many fantasy podcasts. There's no reason for me to be honest with you. I'm looking into all this stuff. I do my own projections. Listening to other people's takes, I guess it could be good, but I'm kind of doing that through these football podcasts. Otherwise, it's just a lot. It's just a lot of just noise that I don't need to hear in ways that are biasing me that don't actually matter. Thanks for the consistent and great content, Sal. Let's eat. $5 super chat from Joseph. Joseph, you're too kind. You're too kind, my man. Appreciate you. This fat joint is for you. Yeah, I'm up in Texas. There ain't no California greens out here, but hopefully there will be soon. Thanks, man. Always rocking the fire shirts. Love it. Alrighty, gang. I think I'm going to bounce. We've been live for about an hour and 10. Before you go, hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Hey, hit the subscribe button. Join this community. We got 1,200 people still rocking and strong in here. I appreciate you all the time. We're going to bounce. Speaking of Al Spencer, I want to see you and him do a cage match, one-on-one draft style. I would do it if he wants to. Grandmas are special. They sure are. Can we get a room tour someday? That setup looks amazing. Yeah, here you go. Here's the room tour. There's my wall over there. There's one of my sheets with my projections. There's my blacked out wall over there. Bada bing, bada bang. How beautiful is that? That's a state-of-the-art fucking room tour right there. I tell you what, man. I second the room tour idea. You don't watch my content, says Alfred Penn. I do not. I don't know who you are, to be honest. Should all emails be transparent from anyone associated with the NFL? No. Privacy is a thing. Thanks for all that you do. I appreciate you guys a ton. Sal, flip a coin for me. AB versus Godwin. I'll take AB. Alrighty, peace out, gang. Schmack you around. Hey, Hey. Tonight you're going to win. Hey, happy birthday to my grandma tonight, right? When we win these Dollarooskies, right? And thank you to the people who bought my fucking meal. And you need to do that. But when we win the Dollarooskies tonight, when we win them all tonight, the decaf coffee that somehow got me turned, who put the fucking Baileys in there? When? We win the Dollarooskies tonight. And you go to the store and you get a lovely thick-ass pumpkin, but also the $5 candle. $5 candle, that thing's burning forever right now, the pumpkin spice. We're feeling really good right now. Really good spooky season. And when you're feeling good, shoulders are leaning. You're in your fucking skeleton costume, right? You're in your Squid Game costume, the Squid Game worker costume, right? You're in your Joe Exotic costume, and they're saying, "What are you wearing? Right? What are you wearing tonight? And how'd you get the money to afford that? And why you got dollar bills in your hands? And how you got this ice on your wrist, ice on the wrist? How do you got all that, right? Where'd you get the shirt?" I say, "Hey, I got this because I know football, and hey, football knows me too. Hey, peace out, gang. I'll see you on the next one." See ya. I was going to say I wouldn't want to be ya, but there's nothing wrong with you people. There's nothing wrong with you people at all. Good people. See ya. Maybe want to be ya. Peace.